To test the valve springs, we have our valve spring setup. We have our inner valve spring and our outer valve spring.
Hi and welcome to Classic ATS. During this 8-part series we're going to show you how to fully build your 911 air-cooled cylinder head.
To test these, they need to be positioned in their respective spring seats. So we need our bottom spring retainer and our top spring retainer installed. There are two areas that we need to test. We need to test the seat pressure and we need to test the full lobe pressure. So the first one I'm going to test is our seat pressure, which is a dimension from top to bottom of the top collet, and the bottom spring retainer is 42 millimeters. So I have our spring pressure gauge. I'm going to set my calipers to 42 millimeters. And then I'm going to set my mandrel height, or set my spring height, right here. So I'm at 42 millimeters. Next, I'm just going to open my ratchet, close it. The specification for the seat pressure is going to be 44 pounds plus or minus 5%. So on the bottom end, 5% is 41.8 pounds. This spring is currently measuring about 32 pounds. So from the seat pressure side, this spring is worn out and should be replaced. Now, if it did pass on our seat pressure, the next stage, I would set my open pressure. The intake and exhaust are different, so even though the springs are the same, we would check our intake springs at a different height. Our intake lift measurement is 30.5 millimeters, so I'm going to close my calipers to 30.5 millimeters. Close my locking lever, and I'm going to reset the mandrel to an installed height of 30.5 millimeters. Same thing, I'm just going to put my spring in. I still have my top and bottom spring retainers. Push that in. My spring pressure for the intake valve should be 176.5 pounds plus or minus 5%. So on the low end it should be no lower than 167.5 pounds. This one is coming in at right on 155 pounds. So it's about 12 pounds under the minimum spring pressure. So I'm going to run through, test all the rest of the springs, and most likely be discarding all springs. To test the exhaust sides, we're going to reset to 31.5 millimeters on our spring height. So I'm just going to set my calipers at 31.5 millimeters. And set my spring height. The spring pressure for an exhaust install should be 165.3 pounds plus or minus 5%. 157 would be the lowest side, which is minus 5% from 165. We're coming in at about 142.5. So this spring is also worn out and will need to be replaced.